stunning victory earlier this week, 33.
So let me explain two things. This was 2 months ago when we in Panda A delegations, humanitarian delegation, met with different international and Palestinian humanitarian organizations and UN agency to coordinate our 4.3 tons of humanitarian medical aid donated by European sources, bought from China to ship to Gaza. So it's a multi-effort work. And the items still stuck in China because since March, Israel has been brought completely sealed off the border. And then not only us, but many organizations' item has been brought outside, and then we're coordinating. There's some days, like yesterday, there's a rumor saying that a World Health Organization have a possibility to allow us to ship, so we just immediately see we can do it, but that's just like a back and forth, like a talking. Another thing is on this document, why we want to do this is because we want to show our China solidarity to the Egyptians and also the Gazans, that the people in the region, that we are working to support them. And then also, we are not invisible, because everybody said that they never saw Chinese coming. What are you talking about? China also donated lots of stuff to Gaza before. But also at the same time, the people also fear. In this video, you might didn't notice that the two things. Number one, we do have women in this delegation. But each delegation, the Chinese woman, the comrades, request to be not to be identified. The fear of the future, they can identify. Okay, so we carefully crop her out from the video. And that's actually the woman. Some people have said, why don't have women? We do have women. Another thing is the Palestinians don't want to be in the video. So you see like a video look like no one's in there, but actually there's lots of people. But they're all just behind the camera. Don't want to be in the camera. And the last photo is also, it's a little bit strange, but when we donate funding to an organization called Network for Palestine in Egypt, Cairo, they are a humanitarian agency to support the Palestinian Gazan refugees stranded in Cairo, roughly 100,000 of them. And so when we donate money and then we want to do, how about we can just take a photo together? They said no. So we thought a very creative way. Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's a head down. So I know, but there's people do fear. Also take a risk. We all take a risk. Every time I come back, we will worry about that if I were going to get questioned in the border patrol. Recently, there's a comrade who visited China, back from China to New York City. He got detained in the airport for 10 hours. Questioned his activities, why he's supporting the Syrian resistance movement, which he never been in Syria before. So those kind of things could be happen anytime. So we all take risks, especially people of color. So that's one of the things we have been doing. And we're going back again, next week we're going to have a conference call inviting all these humanitarian organizations to talk about their work, because the video is also another message that they're all asking us for donations. And at the beginning, the organization called Medics Worldwide, they want us to donate you see a very nice looking mini bus with all this equipment, right? Those are the medical bus. They want us to fundraise $100,000 to donate to them, which is, of course we cannot, we don't, but we try to figure out what we can do. Other organizations want us to donate like medical items, food, or maybe funds so they can help the children to go to hospital. Those kind of things we do. We try to fundraise. Well, we don't have money, but we're getting different sources. Sometimes I work myself out to do this, and then, or maybe another beautiful way is, of course, a credit card, and to pay first and then figure out fundraising later. So we're doing this. That's what we have been doing for many years. Just general introduction about what we do, and the reason is that we all should work together. People that work united will be never defeated. What happened today in MacArthur Park is also happening in Gaza City. What they've been doing in Syria, they also want to do what we're going to do in Iran, and also we don't want to do in China. So that is always we need to work together to fight for our common enemy. So that's about our Gaza Park. Then I will talk a little bit about China, because I know China is originally, and as I said, I've been there for China for 10, 15 years. Of course, one thing is I'm not, although I'm Chinese, but I'm not from China. I'm outside China. I'm a Chinese, believe it or not, I'm a Chinese Japanese. When I was a kid, I was living in Japan. Where a Chinese migrant left China over 130 years ago. And but I also residency in Hong Kong. So when I'm back, I usually, if I go back to my brother's family, I go back to Hong Kong. And where I live, because of my parents passed away, so there's no house in Hong Kong anymore. That's the reason I stay in Shanghai. Shanghai is much easier, but also at the same time, it's cheaper, and cleaner, and safer. So that's the reason I'm there as a hub to doing different work. For the over 10 years, what we've been doing the solidarity work, and a couple of things is cultural difference, communication difference. Although it's getting less and less because of internet, because of TikTok, although there's TikTok or maybe Xiaohongshu, I don't know how many people have been using Xiaohongshu, but also very good at communicating with each other to understand better what is the other world is happening. But we're still doing lots of neatly and tedious work. At the beginning, when we started doing a China Solidarity Project in 2008, I thought we were going to go into China and then, okay, let's find comrades, we work together and then go do a gas mobilizing. Turned out to be not that way. What was my most important contribution or task for the last 10, 15 years, even until today, was the, believe it or not, myth buster. Myth buster. I'm busting Chinese about U.S. myth. Also, I'm busting U.S. about China myth. That every day, because going back, this is like all this information warfare around. People do not understand what's reality, what's happening in China. Same thing about Chinese, the right wings, and then all these right wing medias, and then they have all this misinformation about U.S. Of course, like saying that I heard many stories about if every Chinese are eating cat, or maybe another story is about are they all still wearing mouth shirts, or those kind of things. And in China, there's also all that kind of a right-wing myth about U.S. Is that U.S. is so highly, it's a free medication, a free medical service in U.S. That is the biggest myth, common myth. We heard that a lot. So that's when I started coming back from the U.S. to China to see a doctor. Why you don't see a doctor in U.S.? They're all free. I got this kind of things even today, and then another myth that you usually hear saying, and it's a very bogus, but that's also it's incredible. They're saying that a Chinese restaurant worker washing dishes in a Chinese restaurant, 3 months they can earn enough money to buy a house. That's the main reason for the last 5 years, at least 50,000 undocumented Chinese right-wing they start from Bolivia, and then barefoot marching to Mexico, and then crossing border coming to US because they believe that's true. I know it's very strange, but in this information, those people are not poor. Those people are middle class. They even sell their house to do that. And then they have all this channel, and then say that how great the life is. And there's a call. One guy is very famous for years. I did not know until someone told me in China. His nickname is the Sweet Donuts Guy. It's a homeless Chinese undocumented guy in somewhere in Los Angeles. He drew a life on the internet, showing that every day his happy life eating a free food from the homeless shelter. That is a great life. They want to show off that I am eating a great free food every day, and then this is land of honey and milk. People feel that is great, and then there's lots of followers. I know it's a great crazy, it's unbelievable, it's not like 100 years ago. It's happening until last year, until it just disappeared. Yeah. And so those kind of things happen every day. And if people ask me, is that true? Then I'm doing lots of myth busting every day. Same thing, Xinjiang. Xinjiang has been the biggest issue for the last 6-7 years. And then there's the reason we've done delegation go to Xinjiang, and then also books, and then also fact-finding tour. But believe it or not, one of the biggest anti-China forces and then they're supporting the Xinjiang separatist movement are not from US, it's inside China, are right wings. And I got very nasty verbal challenge and fight on the discussion in Xinjiang in China before. Then always I'm very skeptical of who they are. One time it happened 2 years ago. It was a very strange experience. A woman after showing my film, invited me to go into a coffee, want to talk about my project. Okay, maybe a fan, maybe a good donor can donate us money. That's good. So and suddenly she brought 2 persons, which she didn't tell me. And one of the person is a Chinese drag queen with sexy, super sexy dressing, and sit next to me, face to face. And from sitting the first second, he or she, whatever he or she want to identify, challenged me for the next 2 hours, saying that, don't you know that Han Chinese has been massacring Chinese, all that kind of thing, they want you being a communist propagandist, and then that's not only not true, not real, but I said, I study in England and UK, I know I learned a lot about what's the facts about, so okay, Mr. or Mrs. doesn't matter. If you're saying that you are an activist, you have been in the Western world and see the world and then enlighten yourself, and let's talk about LGBTQ issue in US and Western world and homophobia in the US and the UK. And then they didn't know, so got more upset. And that's like, let's just finish the talk today, so it's more weird, and then just keep grabbing me for 2 hours. I thought that was a setup. This kind of weird thing happened a couple times. So it's a myth busting is a very critical issue, because not only myth busting the US about perceptions about China, and then they're thinking about we are hungry, and then all that kind of thing with wearing a mouth shirt, and then all that kind of, because there's going back to traditional racist stereotype on African American in US, Asian American in US, and Mexicans American in US, same thing. Because there's all this kind of weird perception about that the Chinese or maybe Asian is a quiet Asians, or maybe so-called like or maybe black is not smart enough to be an engineer. Every Asian is smart on a map. I'm not smart on map. I'm very bad on map, and all that kind of things happening every day, and so. Those kind of things, or maybe a myth of dragon ladies, those kind of things are pretty strange, because it's just, I don't know why they made up that kind of thing. So those kind of things, I've been working every day, just myth busting, spend us lots of time like that. And then we write article, documents, and think tank report just to demythify. So one of my work is I do medical work. My medical work has been doing a lot of years. I'm supporting, that's the reason why I do a Gaza sort of medical works, and then I do developing a medical project to support the global south. So I have many opportunity and to visit many high-tech company in China. So the next video is my last month. I pretend to be I wear shirt and tie, and visit several high-tech companies. Yeah, China high-tech, yes.